Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Folk, and welcome back to the 256 Report brought to you by Bitcoin Mining World. The 256 Report will be a daily news uploaded onto the Bitcoin Mining World YouTube channel where we discuss things like Bitcoin price, Bitcoin hash rate, and all things Bitcoin mining, whatever's going on in the community, what's going on with some of the publicly traded companies, and so on. To start things off today, the day is August 26th. Bitcoin back above $111,000, closing in on 112. We did peak above of just a few hours ago at $112,279. We love to see a nice jump off of the $109,000 range, given that it was a huge level of support when we did finally break out past it just a few months ago in July. Overall, it's super nice to see the Bitcoin price coming back up a little bit. I know a lot of people were nervous over the weekend. On Sunday, we had a well sell over 18,000 individual Bitcoin, sending the price crashing to the downside over $4,000 in under 5 minutes. That wallet still holds a ridiculous amount of Bitcoin, so it's yet to be unknown on what's going to happen if he's going to continue exiting his position. It seems like he did end up rotating a lot of that money that he made off of that trade over into some altcoins. Seems like it's a good bit of market manipulation, taking down the price of Bitcoin, which has a huge effect on the altcoins, and then taking advantage to buy up that opportunity. It's kind of crazy that people are still getting away with some of this. Who knows if it be curious to see what your guys' thoughts are, if something like that should be allowed, or if a transaction that high should be something that should be forced to go under the counter. Um, let's take a look over at the Bitcoin hash rate. We've dropped down to under 1 zettahash, back to 952 equihash over the weekend. That price was high, or that drop was highly correlated with the price drop in Bitcoin. The same from the whale sell. Overall, it's still an insane hash rate, especially if you guys have been here for a few years. We can look back 3 years ago, and we were only at 220 equihash. So we're over quadrupled at this point, peaking out close to 1.2, 1.1 is that a hash. Truly is incredible to see the network growing every day with everybody plugging in their machines. As always, if you are hashing, we appreciate you guys. Over here to Cointelegraph, Bitcoin miner Hut 8 announces 1.5 gigawatt expansion. That is 1,500 megawatts. In case you guys were not aware, that is a insane amount of power. Your average your Walmart shopping center is pulling anywhere from 1 to 2 megawatts. So it's basically like they're running 750 Walmart's worth of electricity. After announcing that news, the stock rose over 10%. As you can see here, 10.5% on day's closing, from $23.16 all the way up to $25.91. It's always good to see anything publicly traded Bitcoin getting the name out there, getting Bitcoin in Wall Street's pockets. Any ways that they can will always be applauded. Over here to Block Inc., we've got over here to, Bitcoin Magazine. Block Inc. launches the Proto Rig. Now, this news did drop a couple weeks ago now, but it was something I wanted to cover. This is Jack Dorsey's partnering with Core Scientific. Core Scientific is another huge publicly traded Bitcoin mining company. They have now started the Proto Rig, a module Bitcoin mining system designed for seamless upgrades and lower maintenance costs, targeting Bitmain's 80% monopoly. I think all of us can applaud anybody who's going to try and take on the massive beast, which is Bitmain. They do have a huge monopoly over the market, where they dictate prices for all sorts of other companies. So any type of competition like that, we love to see. Down here, they cite that one of their lowest profiles gets as low as 14.1 joules per terahash. I'm not too sure at what terahash rate that is and how many watts it's pulling at this given time, but it's getting really close to Bitmain standard. I don't believe it is beating Bitmain yet on some of their new hydro units, but for an air-cooled unit to be getting 14.1 joules per terahash, if it's getting over 100 terahash, it's going to be great to see. Hopefully they can really keep kicking it and putting in some work. Over here from the block, we've got Bitdeer's Q2 mining revenue up 43% as Bitcoin holdings swell to 175 million. You can see that correlated with their stock price over the last 6 months, up 26%. As always, in case you weren't aware, Bitdeer was founded by one of the original founders of Bitmain, who ended up splitting off due to some disagreements, and he wanted to make his own company. I'm curious when we're still going to get to see those seal miners. I'm sure a lot of you guys bought coupons about 6, 7 months ago now. Hopefully, we'll be able to cash in on those soon. I'd love to personally get my hands on, like I said before, anything that competes with Bitmain. I've got my eye on it. So I'm very excited to hopefully get my hands on one soon and be able to fill you guys in on how they run. One more story to finish off the day today from Crypto Slate. Rural Texans continue to push to regulate Bitcoin mining over noise, quality of life concerns. As always, guys, make sure to take in your noise pollution into consideration if you're going to be building any mid to large size farm, especially in some of the rural areas where people are used to having it quiet, or even close to neighborhoods or industrial districts. I've been to a couple sites now that are in industrial parks, and yet the neighbors are still complaining about the noise, or there's too much heat being blown onto their employees' parking. So it's always a good thing to consider either noise dampening walls. I've seen people put out hay bales to help with their noise, the noise pollution. There's all sorts of different routes you guys can take if you so choose, or if you are getting an operation going that big. But I think we're gonna go ahead and end off today's episode there. Thank you guys so much for stopping in and checking in with me. As always, make sure you subscribe and like the video if you guys did enjoy. And as I'll see you next time. Thank you.